Hey you guys, so I want to come on this recording today, just speaking about how I'm not here to be normal or natural. I was simply born for myself to be supernatural. So I wake up every day from my bed and I look out the window and I'm thinking to myself, how are all of these people procreating when, when they know how bad these situations are? Or it's like, I don't know, it's like, are these people like purely living off of ignorance? Because, I wake up every morning and sometimes I don't want all of this noise happening. I want to think for myself. And, I wake up every day and I look out my apartment window thinking to myself, how in the heck are all of these people procreating? They're bringing children into this world. Most of these people wake up every morning. And do they not see like the horrific scenes that are happening? Do they not? It's like, do they? Do these people want to be in a survival mode mindset all the time? This is what I don't get. This is what I don't understand. This is what I don't understand. When I see these people out here driving around their cars and they're getting to and from where they're trying to go. And I'm thinking, how are these people able to procreate no problem without thinking like, oh yeah, well, I just have to get up every morning to survive. So in my case, I'm just here not to be normal, not to feel natural with everything that's going on around me. I'm here to become supernatural. And what I don't get is, how are these people like willingly able to procreate and bring other people into this world when they know that these jobs or even these work situations, they're not going to work out in your favor. I don't know, maybe I'm just the odd one out. Maybe it's difficult for people like me who tend to like think these things through, and like, because I'm going through a situation right now where I'm only trying to survive. I'm only trying to make it out here. With these people who are in these workplaces, with people who are in these jobs, right? And I'm thinking, wow, is this really living? Because to me, this isn't really living. Even if you do have like a good paying job, and your job pays you well, it's still not living. It's still not living for yourself. And every day it's like it's becoming more clear. It's just like you can't live the rest of your life for these people. You have to try, for somebody who thinks differently, somebody who is, an introvert, an outcast of society, if you will. I'm thinking every day, like, how, because, ultimately the woman makes the decision to bring a so-called young person into this life. It's ultimately these women who ultimately make the decision to birth a child into this reality, this world, and most of the time, things are getting so bad out here that it's almost like you can't get a job just to be happy anymore. You're ultimately getting a job just to survive. And I'm thinking to myself, how are these women making the decision to have sex, procreate, and bring a little child into this world, and in the back of their minds knowing that it might be a lot harder for the younger person to even thrive in this life. There's no guarantee that you're going to be successful in this life. There's no guarantee for that, but what is guaranteed is you living for yourself, right? You have to live for yourself, and, whatever you think about, however you conduct yourself in this day-to-day reality, like, it should be cherished, and these people out here, these quote-unquote strangers, are thinking, oh, you're not anybody unless you work for a company just to make ends meet and just to survive. Like, I don't, me myself, like, I don't want to bring a kid here. And I have no children, by the way, and it's for a good reason. And most people would say, oh, well, life's a gift. Life is precious. Just try bringing a young person into this world, and try and bring that and try and make that young person happy. No, I mean, most of these circumstances are out of your control, right? So this is how it is for me. I've been through many jobs. I've been through some schooling. And I've been through many jobs before, and none of them have even worked out for me in the end. And why do you think that is? It's because I am not normal. I am not a normal person. I think for myself, and I don't want my child to go through the same struggles as I'm going through. And people just, I just don't get it. People out here are just willy-nilly having sex and bringing young children into this life, not really guaranteeing their success. And I'm thinking why aren't people going within their minds and thinking about this stuff? It really baffles me. It's baffling me to the point to where I'm thinking, okay, why are these people, why is society bringing another life here when they don't really know that their child is guaranteed success in the future. I just don't get it. I don't get it. And, I mean, you have to be purely lucky in this day and time to have your life really work out for you. And I have to say that, nothing is really guaranteed. Nothing is really guaranteed in this life because, the corporate world, the corporations, they're hiring these people, but they're hiring people who, they want and everything, but still, nothing is guaranteed. Nothing's for certain. Nothing's for certain that anyone is going to be guaranteed a successful life. And it's just it's crazy because don't people see all the homeless people not living the way they're supposed to? Don't these people not see that around them? But and it's not all people, but it's not everyone, but most of the time these women are just having children just to have a little companion with them, and to just most of the time these females just these women out here who want to give birth, because I'm afraid of giving birth, right? That's just crossed my mind, this has been on my mind for a while now, and this is the reason why I don't have a child of my own, because for one, I'm afraid of giving birth. For two, nothing is guaranteed in this life. Success is not guaranteed in this life, not anymore. And and even in the olden days, even way back when, people were having children, and they're so, most of the time these people can be so selfish because, even the people way back when, they still had children, and, an innocent life is something that you should want to protect, right? But, these people back in the olden days, in World War I, World War II, they still had children, and what resulted with these specific persons, the result for these specific persons who were born back then, oh yeah, they had to go to war, they had to fight. So, I wouldn't want that for somebody else. I wouldn't want that for my child, And that's the thing. People already knew in their minds that life was bad. People in their minds, they already had fathomed that, okay, well, I'm struggling. I have a potential situation here to where there's a chance that my husband could go to war. There's a chance that my son could go to war. That was really in the back of their minds. It was. It's not like it wasn't in the back of their minds. So why are they still procreating when that was the case? I don't get it. I don't resonate with that form of thinking. Because, if shit's not going well for me, then what makes me think that shit's gonna go well for my offspring? It's freaking ridiculous. And, even at age 36, I'm like, okay, I'm not bringing a child into this life because I know that they are more than likely to suffer like I did. And of course, I thought that having a child would be good for me, but what good is it when I'm ultimately afraid of giving birth to someone when it could potentially end my life, or it could potentially end my child's life. There's no reason for me to bring a child here because of all the stress and like all of the difficulties that you have to go through in order to survive and thrive here. Like, that's just me using my common sense. Like, and I watch these videos on YouTube of people like saying or claiming that like they're antinatalist, which they can give themselves a title all they want, but I'm not claiming that I'm an antinatalist in any way. It's just me using common sense at this point. So it's like if I'm not having a good time here, if I'm ultimately struggling here, then why would I want to bring a child here? You get what I'm saying? So that's all I wanted to state in a video for right now. So yeah, I mean, I hope to think that I'm just using common sense here. Like, things are not going well. Things are not going well for most of the majority of us, who are just trying to strive and survive in this economy that we have right now. It's like, why, maybe things might have been different if, like, I don't know, like, if I was living somewhere and, like, and times weren't as hard, but I don't know, who's to say that, anytime that you wanted to bring a child here, it wouldn't be hard. And most of these parents out here who are birthing children, like, I don't know. Sometimes these people, like, most of these people, like, will bring children here, like, willingly, like, not knowing, like, the consequences, or not knowing, like, what's gonna happen in the future. Maybe there will be another war in the future. I don't know, and that's something that I think about, like, quite often. Because for as long as I've been an empath, for as long as I've been a starseed, like, no, things are not happening normally for me. Things are not happening normally for me, quote unquote. So why would I want to bring a child here when they're automatically going to be subjugated to the same fate as I'm in right now. So these people are breeding and procreating and having children when they're not thinking of the severe consequences that may happen in the future. And it's just like, why do that? Why do that when, who knows, your child may be autistic, your child may be, might have some deformities. They may not be able to strive in this life. And to be honest, I'm unable to strive in this life to, you know, I'm unable to strive in this life how I want to. So most of the time, these circumstances that I go through, they're out of my hands. It's out of my hands completely. Everything is out of my hands, because it's all subjugated to, you're supposed to make these other people feel like you're worthy of something. It's like, I don't want to live I don't want to live a life like that. And I don't want my child or children to feel like that, because I myself am going through difficulties. I myself am struggling to even, make ends meet with this kind of shit. So why in my brain would I think, oh yeah, this life isn't so bad. I should bring a child here. Why should I think like that? When ultimately me myself am trying to survive in this reality. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. I just don't get most of the majority of people here who are just living and just decide to procreate just because they want to have a kid. Like, I don't understand that. Sure, it may be fine for some people, and most of the time people make that ultimate decision, especially the women, the females. So the women, the females, they're the gatekeepers of sex, right? So I'm thinking like, okay, they're not truly thinking, okay, it could get worse. It could get worse for my child, because I'm going through the same situation, right? I myself, I'm going through the same situation. I'm struggling. I'm trying to survive. I'm trying to make ends meet. So unless you're like filthy rich or you're very well off, then I would say, yeah, cool. Go ahead and have a kid. Go ahead and have a kid if you want, because you're well off. You have money. Right? So, in my case, I'm thinking, okay, why would I want to bring my own child here just to suffer the same consequences? And I don't have a retirement plan. I don't have a backup plan, because I'm trying to survive myself. So why should I bring another person here just to ultimately have the same fate as me? I don't want that. I don't want that. It's just sad. It's just sad, people. It's just this life is just really disappointing. I just can't, I can't wrap my head around people who just want to bring a child here just because like they feel like it gives them a purpose. It's like, okay, what is your own purpose then? What is your purpose? Just to be a slave and work a job that could ultimately like disrespect you, and like you know you could get fired from your you could get fired from your career, you know, and not and have to go through the same struggle over and over again. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So I'm not bringing a child here. I'm not bringing a child here because ultimately I think my child, when my child comes of age, you know, they're not going to be happy with the future circumstances that, you know, this fucked up matrix system might put them in. I'm not doing that. I'm not thinking on that level anymore. So I'm just here to like, so ultimately I'm just here to like think for myself, focus on myself, try to make my own life better, because ultimately I am struggling. I'm struggling with this life. So, but you know, people in the ghetto, you know, say for instance, people in the ghetto, they're still having children for what? For what? And people over there, back in these other countries, where war is ultimately waging, war is waging in those countries. War is raging in those countries.